This is the World Championships.
In Anaheim, California, 5,500 excited fans cheered and gasped, watching on a giant screen as two players battled for the World Championship of the video game StarCraft II.
But here comes live for the big fall, trying to get the wraparound ball on all of these Marines. He's not even having the opportunity to pick too many of them up.
This is like the Super Bowl, basically, for us.
At Chicago's Ignite Gaming Lounge, crowds lined up before midnight, not to play video games.
On the blue side, it's Starhorn Royal Club.
But to watch the League of Legends World Championship being played half a world away in South Korea.
This is the only sport I watch.
And in Seoul, more than 40,000 people packed into a stadium to watch the games live.
And his opponent in the top left.
It was in South Korea that video game competitions like this, called esports, first exploded as spectator sports.
I'd go there and you'd have these huge ballrooms, all these young people all excited about these young players that were becoming celebrities.
Paul Sams is chief operating officer of Blizzard, the company that created StarCraft, the game that launched esports in Korea and made stars of the best players.
You're like, what, this is crazy. These people are following all these young kids that are playing video games, and they've got these huge followings, and they're signing autographs, and it became really evident to us that this was the beginning of something big.
But would this Asian phenomenon translate to America? Last year, the League of Legends Championship was held in Los Angeles at the home of the LA Lakers. It was a sellout. I think I'm too old to understand what's going on in online gaming now.
Okay, you probably are.
Michael Pachter studies the video game industry as a research analyst at Wedbush Securities. I can understand people watching a golf game. I can't understand people watching somebody play a computer game.
Well, I have to say, my wife can't understand people watching a golf game because she's not a golfer. So if you're not a gamer, that's not going to appeal to you. When you're into something like, a game like League of Legends, which has 93 million monthly unique players, 93 million, there are a lot of people among those 93 million who want to watch the best people in the world playing the game.
You have yourself a North American team into the quarterfinals.
The company that makes League of Legends says that 27 million people watched this year's championship. To put that in perspective, the World Series, which started later that same week, averaged just under 14 million viewers.
Top left, Brady, top left.
Video games now bring in $71 billion in annual revenue, more than the music business and fast catching up to Hollywood. Amazon sees such potential in esports that it paid nearly $1 billion for Twitch, a social network that allows users to watch and stream video games live.
Wow.
Most nights, Twitch viewers outnumber those of many cable networks. Kevin Lin is the chief operating officer at Twitch.
Like sports, you want to watch it live. You want to be there when something interesting happens. You want to be there for that moment and share that moment as a communal experience. It's very much like being in a crowd, only digitally.
31 million Americans watched esports last year, up from fewer than 2 million in 2010.
It's the first sport that has gotten commercially successful outside of television.
Mike Sepso co-founded Major League Gaming, what some call the NFL of the professional gaming world. More than 100,000 watched online as teams competed for $50,000 in prizes in their brand new arena in Columbus, Ohio.
Our typical viewer is a young guy, generally 16 to 24, maybe a little bit older, who's an active gamer, who's just sort of a typical, all-around American kid.
Like a lot of other all-around American kids, Matt Haig spent so much time playing video games, his mother tried to stop him.
She didn't know at first, but I had extra controllers up inside the room, and I loved doing it so much that sometimes I'd be a rebel and sneak back on at night, but then she kind of wisened up over the years, and she figured out, well, he's got extra controllers, I'm going to take the power cord.
Now 22.
I like the shirts.
Matt is a professional gamer known as Nade Shot. He's so good, he made nearly $1 million last year playing Call of Duty.
I remember the first tournament that I won was this little online tournament, and we won about $50. And I went downstairs screaming like, I did it, I finally made some money.
Good stop, Proof. Nice job.
He practices hours a day as legions of devoted fans watch his training sessions online.
What's up, man?
He also has a lucrative contract with Red Bull, the energy drink company that sponsors athletes like Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn. Do you consider yourself an athlete?
I'd not compare myself to like Kobe Bryant or Calvin Johnson or anybody like that. We're not in that league, but we definitely have something that takes an equal amount of time and practice and skill for sure.
To hone those skills, this summer, Red Bull flew Matt and his team to California for a month of real-world training.
And we're just measuring.
Andy Walsh runs Red Bull's athlete development program.
At some point, somebody came to you and said, we want you to start working with gamers. You're a guy who's worked with Olympic athletes. Did you say, hang on a minute here?
No, I was actually the opposite. I was really excited.
Red Bull trainers put Matt and his team through the kind of intense physical workouts they do with other elite athletes. Strength training, aerobics, even yoga. Red Bull hooked them up to sophisticated brain scanners to measure the stress while they're playing.
Playing video games can be described as a sport?
I'd say absolutely. You're performing at such high stress loads and under such sort of stringent conditions, competitive conditions, that we call that athletics, you know.
In fact, the athletic department at Robert Morris University in Chicago began offering esports scholarships this year. And last year, the U.S. State Department granted athlete visas to pro gamers for the first time. Back in Anaheim, 25,000 showed up for BlizzCon, the annual convention of game company Blizzard.
Any of you come from a StarCraft background?
Competitors playing Blizzard games battled for a share of $750,000 in prize money.
Oh my gosh! Fireman!
18-year-old James Kostusic triumphed in the game Hearthstone,
Your 2014 World Champion!
winning $100,000.
Still like barely settling in that that's real.
Did your parents, anybody ever say to you, you're wasting your time?
Yeah, lots of people did. Like tons and tons and tons and tons of people said I was wasting my time.
What's the future for esports?
Well, we think it's just going to continue to get bigger.
Is there a time that we'll look at esports perhaps like NASCAR?
I certainly hope so. It's just so engaging. It pulls you in, and you find yourself rooting for these people, even if you don't know exactly what's going on.
Samsung